Let's now talk about more sine and cosine graph. So for example, let's say we have y is equal to, this time let's talk about 2 sine, I don't know, 3, and then parentheses x minus pi over 2 plus 4. Something like this. Okay, along this line where this is a, it tells you where the how much the amplitude is, how much you go up and down from the midline, and this is our b term. Remember, if it's sine and cosine, we use 2 pi over b to come up with the period, and this is how it's shifted left and right along x-axis, and this is how much we shift up and down. If it's minus pi over 2, we're going to shift all our points from our parent graph to the right pi over 2, okay, units. And outside, if it's plus 4, we're going to move up. Okay, that's kind of tricky. When this is minus, you move to the right. When this is plus, you move up. Okay, when this is plus inside, you move left that much. Okay, so let's do an example. Let's say we have y is equal to, let me see, what do we, let's complicate things a little bit. Negative 2, and then we have sine, let's have, I don't know, 4, and then parentheses we have x, let's do minus pi over 2, and then we do minus again, 1. Okay, it looks kind of complicated, but let's follow our rules and steps. It's not that hard, you'll see. So we'll draw our x and y axes. And then first thing that you want to do is make sure you have a coefficient 1 here. If it's not, if you have, for example, like 2x here, you need to factor that out, okay? In this case, it's already factored out. So our b is 4. So our period, it's going to be 2 pi over our b. So a period in this case, it's pi over 2. That's the first thing that you want to do. So let's mark them. Pi over 2 is 1 period. And then half that, it's going to be pi over 2 times 1/2, which is pi over 4. And then half that again, it's pi over 8. This is pi over 8, 2 pi over 8, 3 pi over 8. Okay. And then we might need more spaces because we're going to shift, wow, right side pi over 2. Let me make it a little bit smaller then. Let's be a little bit neater. So I need to go to make more room. So that's about pi over 2. So here it's pi. And then each increment is, I'm sorry. So we had pi over 8, 2 pi over 8, 3 pi over 8, 4 pi over 8. Then we have 5 pi over 8, 6 pi over 8. I mean, 6 pi over 8 is what? 3 pi over 4. You could reduce it later, okay? And then 7 pi over 8 here. Okay. Now that's the hardest part. And then we're almost done. And then since it's sine, I'm going to ignore this right now. Ignore this right now. And then graph as if this is negative 2 sine 4x only. Okay. So sine, we know that it's going to go through 0, 0. So that's where I'm going to put a dot. Plot that. And then look at the amplitude. It's 2. So we have to go up 2. And then down 2. Okay. And since it's negative, I'm going to start going down. So 1 unit to the right. Down 2. Then come back up. Then go up again. Then come back down. Remember, this is 1 period right there. Okay. But since we have minus pi over 2, I'm going to move all my points to pi over 2 to the right. Okay, so I'm going to, and then I'll do at one step here. Move pi over to the right, and then move down, at the same time move down 1 unit. Okay, so I'm gonna start with 0, 0 here. So I have to move pi over 2 to the right, which is over here, and then come back 1 unit down. So that's my new point there. We do the same thing all the way up to -3 now. So there. Okay, and then that's all you got to do. So next, down 1. Then this one, pi over 2, down 1. This one, pi over 2, which ends up at pi, down 1. Okay? Now, before, our parent was, but the midline was y equals 0. Now, because of this minus 1, the midline, I'm going to do a dotted line here, is y equals -1. Okay? Now, all you got to do is connect the dots, make it all curvy. This is, remember, this is just one period. And then if you want to go left more, you just got to do it like that. Keep on doing it. Okay? Let's do another one. Let's do one with cosine this time. Let's do y is equal to, let's do positive this time. 2 cosine, let's make it all 2. 2 times x, let's see, let's do minus, plus, let's do plus this time. Plus, what should we do? Should we do like pi over 4? And then we do plus 2. Okay. Again, let's figure out what period is. Period is 2 pi over our b term. In this case, it's 2. So our period is pi. That's nice. So we draw our xy axis. And then all the way to the right, let's draw our pi. In fact, I'm gonna, yeah, let's do that. Pi. I'm gonna draw a little bit more to the left. Like that, okay? And then cut it in half. It's gonna be pi over 2. Cut in half again. That will be pi over 4. I'm gonna make here negative pi over 4 because when I looked at this, you know, you have to shift your points pi over 4 to the left. So this is my negative pi over 4, or this is 0. And then we have 3 pi over 4 here. Okay. And then look at our A. Our amplitude is 2, so our maximum, make it a little bit, so this is 2. Now when I look at this, our D term, it's plus 2, so might as well, you know, make it all the way up to 4. -1, -2, then -3, we're not going to go down there, but, you know, just in case. So it's cosine. Everything's set up. Cosine, we start on y-axis, but then amplitude is 2, so we start here. Okay, I'm gonna add 2 later. Okay, because first thing to do, I like to do it this way because it's a lot easier and you tend to not make many mistakes. You plot them first, and then we start up here because it was positive. If it was negative, you start down here. Okay, and then 1 unit to the right, it's gonna come down, and then 1 unit to the right, it's gonna come down even more, but 2 units, and then come back up, and this is just 1 period right there. But we need to, what do we need to do? We need to move left pi over 4 much, and then up to units. So I'm gonna use my other color. So all these points need to move 1 pi over 4 to the left, and then up to. So same thing. 1 to the left, up to. 1 to the left, pi over 4 much, and then up to. 1 to the left, then up to. 1 to the left, and then up to. So this is the final graph. And then you could keep going to the right and to the left if you want to. So this is just, oh, not this part right there. So this is just one period of this graph.